Are we recording?
We're recording in the live for the world to see.
Let's see it live for the world to see.
Back in the lounge.
Should do the England, England. Let's not get like that.
No.
Right, so the females are into the final round. Yes, that's correct. But you could also skip church that day.
Apparently so, because God doesn't care. He's like, fine, just move it.
So yeah, senior bishop tells churches it is fine to move services so people can watch Women's World Cup final. All right, cool. Like, I just thought the world went on. Like,
That's weird, isn't it? I always thought the whole point of church service on a Sunday, not the whole point, but
it's forbidden to skip it.
Well, yeah, it was kind of the fact that was like a set thing on a Sunday. You do your service, but now it's like footy's on, so bin it off till Monday.
Basically, yeah. Like, I'm not being funny. Who the fuck's got time to go to church anymore nowadays when we've got football on? I mean, even the pubs are going to be opening up serving about 10 o'clock. They're looking at. It's going to be a law getting passed on for that. I mean, we go absolutely stupid in this country for England when it's in the World Cup.
Did you hear that they were trying to get a bank holiday pass for Monday?
That's it, yeah. Brilliant. When I'm off as well.
Government wouldn't allow it, though.
But there is a bank holiday the following week.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
There's a bank holiday the following, the summer bank holiday.
Yeah, apparently.
We just go fucking stupid,
the government were like, no, you're not having it, so no bank holiday, even if we win.
It's because it's short notice.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, not being funny, we always go, but the pub things do not include Scotland and Wales. Tell them to fuck off, because they don't ever want to be a part of it. But when it comes to alcohol and days off, they want to be part of it. But yes, so that's right. You've heard it right, that churches, you can actually skip your church service now. So all you do-gooders and Bible bashers and all that, and acronyms, whatever you are, and all you LGBT hating people, you actually can skip church now too.
So are you going to be skipping church?
I don't go to church.
You sure? I thought you were a God-fearing man.
God-fearing man. I mean, look at fucking mole on this bitch. Look at the face on that. Someone give her some of the pennies out the service pouch and tell her to go downtown and get a rat to gnaw off her face.
What?
Rat to gnaw him off her face.
A rat to gnaw him off. Fucking hell.
Could they pick the worst photo? But yeah, it's BBC. No, it's actually the Independent view this time. So yeah, like I keep repeating, church, it's apparently the Lionesses will face off against Spanish women's team in a historical World Cup final this Sunday. Is it really historical?
I mean, it's historical for the women, yes. I've heard a few people say that this is going to be the first World Cup England wins since '66. However, I do agree that it's an achievement for the women's team. However, I don't think it's an achievement all around for the men's team as well, because I think it's kind of taking something away from the men's team. The men aren't able to win it because the competition is better than them.
Hey, what?
I mean, yeah, literally. That was a harsher way of saying what I was trying to say. But the women's team, they're one of the best out of the women. But
well, yeah, of course, it's created a lot of controversy on it, and it's getting to a point as well now that they're now even saying that the women's manager should be paid the same as Gareth Southgate. Yes, I completely agree with all equality and everything like that, but at the same time, if you do that, then you've got to pay the same team, you've got to pay the team the same amount of money as the players.
I do agree.
How much has the FIFA got to do?
Well, I agree with equality, but I don't know if you've ever seen the interview that the UFC fighter Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Have you seen the interview she does where she says something like, the people say to her, "Oh, how do you feel about most female UFC fighters not making as much as the men?" And she literally says, like, I'm a woman and I make as much as the men because I pull in the crowds. The other women don't pull in the crowds as much as most of the men do, so they don't get paid as much, which is kind of fair.
No, I'll agree. I mean, you go and watch with your partner, the females, Southampton team, don't
we
you?
do, yeah.
You know, and in my family, there is actually the original manager for the Southampton female managers. He was the first guy to manage a females team. When it was I mean, let's just talk about the word historical here. People saying this is an historical event. There are people that are still alive from that date. So does that mean you'll call all those old people historic?
I mean, I guess it's
historical to me. Is like back in like 1456 or something like that.
Yeah, I guess this is a historical day for the women's team.
It will be great. I will be very pleased for them to bring home the cup because they have worked very hard for it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the photos and the support that they're showing themselves is just absolutely fantastic. I'm really happy for them. But at the same time, what I heard on the radio today, which is quite true, is the sponsorships. So the sponsorships that have stuck with the women's all this time, they're going to be massively rewarded. and celebrated for it. And then what they say is that they reckon there's going to be new sponsors that are going to come in going, oh yeah, we support the women's football.
Join the bandwagon.
Join the bandwagon. Yeah. And they reckon that they could potentially say no to them. Which I think is great.
I think one thing when it comes to the equality thing, like you said, me and my partner, we go and watch the Saints ladies team. And when we're there, I would say it's unfair if the Saints ladies got paid as much as the Saints men, because when we go and watch the Saints ladies, the stadium's only a quarter full.
Yeah.
But when you go and watch the Saints men, stadium's full. So it's not really fair to pay them the same because they're not pulling in the same crowd.
It's changing slowly. It's more becoming more and more. I mean, like back in the day, like you wouldn't have dare seen a woman wearing a football top down the street.
Yeah,
now you're starting to see it. It's never really bothered me. My partner wears a Southampton football top. Your partner wears a Southampton football top.
She's got more very Southampton.
Exactly. And for you being a Liverpool fan, it must be quite heartbreaking for you to sit in the house and there's loads of Southampton merch going on.
I mean, it can be, but I just like to remember that we're still better.
We're all Southampton die hard here. I've even got Southampton FC tattooed on me. So,
Less said about that, the better.
So, it's quite a big thing. Football's quite massive in our house. And to hear this is actually really good. I'm so pleased that the radio stations this week, for the beginning of it, covering it, have actually been really good towards it.
Yeah, I'm really happy that there's been a lot more media coverage of this stuff. Like over the last year, do you know what? Massively. Even just over the last year or two, there's been maybe 2 years. There's been about, just a guess, but 5 times as much media coverage, or it feels like there has, than there was for 15, 20 years before that. Like my granddad, he used to watch women's football back in 2008, 2009. So it's not like it wasn't a thing.
No,
it wasn't covered anywhere.
Just wasn't covered. It was very frowned upon. It took many years for, women to be able to join into a thing like that. When you probably spoke about women's sports back then, you probably thought of volleyball. You probably thought of, I don't know, can't really say Ironing Club, but, but it's true, isn't it? That is the narrative of what life was like.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, as we're getting more and more into it, I'm actually really pleased. And I tell you what, I'll be very happy if they bring it home because the boys couldn't.
That is true. They are going to do what the men could.
Yeah, and I think it'd just be absolutely fantastic. And for all you haters out there, if we do have any haters, we must be doing something right because you're going to be like, no, they don't play as hard as the men do. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they do. I don't care. I tell you now, if I went to go run around a pitch for 90 minutes and I played against a female footballer for 90 minutes, I can guarantee you I'd have an asthma attack. And I'm not
probably
asthmatic.
End up getting schooled. I mean, I can testify that because, as you know,
you're doing it.
I started playing five-a-side recently, a couple of weeks ago, and genuinely, for 3 or 4 days after the match, I'm in agony.
Man's got lactic acid in his knees for 2 weeks, and
we only played for 40 minutes, 20-minute halves.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I couldn't.
You couldn't play against these. That's what I'm trying to say. And do you know what? Fair play to him. Do it. And then, just to minus everything out and give us all pluses, we can skip church Sunday.
Yeah. No church on Sunday.
No church on Sunday.
The footy's on.
Don't worry, though. Jesus and God will be very ashamed. So do not leave him up in the house. So, yes, latest headlines have just come in. The baby killer has been arrested. She is now in custody.
Yes.
Baby killer, who's that? It's Nurse Lucy Letby, guilty of murdering 7 babies on a
neonatal unit.
I mean, this is what do you call that? Are they mental or?
It's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? I mean, we saw a few headlines earlier saying how the bosses, that kind of oversee her would have obviously had to have been a bit ignorant to this because how does she get away with, letting 7 babies die?
In her care. I mean, you'd think after 1 or 2, they might be like, hang on a minute, something's going on here. It's not like you can...
But 7?
You can get a notepad, write something out, rip off, put it in the bin. You can't do that. This is a life. This is something that goes through paperwork. You've got parents.
Yeah.
It's about bloody time. And they've been talking about this so long now, of this all coming out. I mean, you can see the video footage from 2018 when she was arrested. It's all been dealt with. Everything like that, and so now it's actually being moved forward and processed.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite happy that it's been all disclosed now. We can all finally get over all of this facade that's been going on inside the NHS. So for all you people that say the NHS is brilliant, you still have psychopathic killers that work within your range. You know, it doesn't matter where you live, what you do.
No.
I mean, this is something that you think you'd hear in America. No,
It does seem very
here
American,
in the
doesn't
UK.
it? It's got a real air of USA to it. If you know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean.
really does, you know, and everyone nowadays is on that bandwagon of, oh, it doesn't happen here, that couldn't happen here. There's a lot of midwives out there that are still committing these crimes that are, you know, like just recently in Germany, I know I'm going off subject here, but there was a woman that was found for giving all the elderly patients water in their jabs instead of COVID vaccines. She was actually found innocent.
Oh, really?
Because she wasn't doing anything illegal.
Suppose technically she wasn't.
No, she wasn't harming them.
Fraud, maybe. But
putting saline H2O in it.
Yeah, she wasn't really hurting them in any way.
No, exactly.
I mean, she wasn't helping them either. But...
No, it wasn't helping them because obviously if you didn't have your vaccine, you died. But, you know, we're not going to get down
Let's
that.
not go down that.
Yeah, we'll get away from
trail.
that. I think we spoke about it before.
Yeah, I think we have.
So, yeah, mugshot. I mean, if you've actually seen the video, I think it's been released today, the footage, I think, for the first time. She actually opens the door like, morning, hello, and then all of a sudden, bang, gosh, it's the CID.
Yeah.
You're under arrest, she goes, her face is all like...
I do find it very... Well, I don't find it hard to believe because it happened. I find it hard to comprehend that she managed to get away with 7 over the course of, what is it, about a year or so, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 7? Like I said, 1 or 2, and you think that's really unfortunate. When she gets up to 4 or 5, you must be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, someone must have thought something. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, the other day, I am evil, I did this. There's a statement that's found in evidence. I mean, this is like finding that diary in like the uni bomber's house. This is something that I'm just so glad it's all come to light and that everyone can actually see the sickening behaviour that goes on. You know, these people, I mean, she sat in the interview and she's talking and conducting about how these things were carried out, the staff that was doing it, the staff that was with her, people that were involved, people that knew. Like I say, like in so many job roles nowadays, you'd have like an overseer manager of certain things. So like, I'll just go through like an ordering system, just say our car ordering system at work. I want to order something. I use a cost code. I put it in. I then have what's called like my area's cost code, and then goes to my supervisor, who then has to approve it, and then it goes to a manager, who then approves that for my supervisor. Then it goes to an actual stock manager to approve it. So the amount of people that oversee me ordering, say, like 1 bolt for a joint, all of this stuff would have been overseen by someone.
Yeah, that's what I've struggled to get my head around. There must have been quite a few people above her looking into these things, you know, as they happened, and being like, that's fine. And, I mean, this is obviously horrific, and all I'm going to say is, you know, in some cases like this, like the death penalty kind of has a bit of a reason to exist.
I'm not being funny. This is serial killing, isn't it? Really.
Like this is proper bad. And like I said, in cases like this, when it's so atrocious like this.
I mean, June 2015, she killed 4 children.
Yeah, in 1 month.
Wow, sorry, 3 and attempted murder in 1 month.
She went.
Then she goes home. And she probably cooked her and her partner, if she had a partner, I'm just speaking hypothetically, I don't really know much about her. Then went home, cooked dinner that night, and went to bed.
And went to work the next day and tried it again.
And slept like a baby.
And then literally the next day was like, I'll do it again.
And then next month in July, she thought, I'll give it a break.
Yeah, took a little time off.
August,
she's like, oh, back at it.
Back at it again. How can this go through someone's mind to take an innocent life? Like, this is like people that can bag up puppies and throw them over the bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing gets done for people like this. 2 counts of attempted murder.
It's crazy. And like I said, in cases like this, like the death penalty has a reason to exist, you know?
All these parents, all these years, lied to, I expect, as well. Lied to about how a child potentially probably died of natural causes, and someone oversaw that and wrote down a death certificate somewhere.
The amount of people that must have seen stuff happening, must have overseen this, like you were saying. The amount of, you know, people above her, this sort of information would have passed through. And most of them were just like,
This is a very dark day for the NHS because obviously at the moment we're still going through the phases of miscarriages and everything like that within pregnancy cases, how women are being mistreated during C-sections, how, you know, nurses have not been sedating or putting people under like local, whatever, anaesthetic and everything like that, how they've been mistreated. A lot of people have come forward who were ex-nurses that worked in the midwife sector of the NHS, who had family members. They go to hospital with them, saying, "Oh, you should be doing this with them." They're saying, "No, no, no, we're not going to do that." They induce them, send them home, and then basically they end up having like a really bad birth. There's so much going on at the moment in the NHS. So anyone who is outside of the country and is thinking of having a baby in the NHS, I completely fucking warn you, you're better off having it at home and having your husband cut the umbilical cord with some sterilised scissors. Because the NHS at the moment, for the percentage that is born and everything like that, it's the build up to all of it, the maternity nurses, everything like that. There isn't, I don't think they're actually existent. I don't think a lot of them get involved.
Yeah, I
until
did,
like probably 15, 20 weeks now. I think.
I did read something earlier on here that even back in 2015, when she kind of started this serial killing rampage, she one of the doctors even raised concerns after the first baby died, and apparently nothing was done about it. They just kind of ignored him.
So even that doctor then, who knew from the first baby's death was suspicious, no one acted upon it.
Yeah, no one did anything. They just kind of were like, "Nah, it's fine. Just forget about it."
So where's that doctor?
It does make you wonder how hard he fought. Did he just put in a complaint and move on with his life?
I hope that he was brought into this investigation. I hope that he gives as much criminal evidence he has against her, because I tell you now, like, exactly, where does he go from here? He has a career after that, thinking every day, and now he probably sees the news and he probably goes, "Do you know what? I fucking knew her and I never was able to stop her."
You know what? It's something you were saying earlier about, her going home and cooking dinner and stuff. And it made me think, like, sometimes, like, I've known people in my life who like to steal stuff, right? They see something that isn't theirs and they think, "I could have that."
Bag of zip ties.
Bag of zip ties. But can you imagine being this woman in the hospital, sees a baby and she's like, "I could kill that."
Basically, an innocent life that can't defend
what
itself.
The fuck?
Defensive innocent life.
How can that even go through your head? You're like,
Betray your mind.
Just like, "I could kill it," and then you even try to. Like, what the fuck?
But the thing is, very highly skilled person went into the baby part of the NHS and just started
spent years of her life training as well to be a nurse.
Normally, you hear about like surgeons being like that, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I can kind of understand surgeons with the whole God complex thing, because they
feel like they're God.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
mental.
It's just mental. But I'm just glad everything's been unveiled. It's come out. It's showing her face. She is young. I think she's only 33. Good riddance. I tell you what, I would. I think she should be flown to the States and have a legal injection put in her.
I tell you what. I mean, if she's sent to a women's prison, can you imagine the amount of mums in there that are going to absolutely fucking annihilate?
Yeah, I tell you what. If there's anyone watching from prison, because you probably can these days, give her a bit of an induction.
I'll tell you what, if she goes into prison and gets put in general population, she's not going to have any eyeballs by the end of the week.
Yeah, no, I'm not being funny. The guy on the news this morning talking about how he was speaking about how he was 21 years old, he was in jail, and he literally told everyone on live air what it's like in there. Like, even before it was like even 8 o'clock in the morning, someone would already be knifed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
I've never been, and I've only spent a couple of hours 12 hours in a cell, but there's like things out there that Tom's mystery. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it just doesn't sound right. And who makes these photos?
Yeah, I know.
Who takes fucking photos smiling? She probably killed a child and smiled.
What makes me what amazes me?
She was proud as well what she did, and it even says like neighbours were saying that, like, she was proud and she was job worthy.
The thing is though, like, she did it once, and
got the taste of it.
She thought, she saw baby and she was like, I could kill that, and she did it, and then she's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it again." Then she goes home and cooks dinner and that, goes to bed, wakes up the next day, and she's like, "Who's next then?" What the fuck?
Proper Jeffrey Dahmer shit. That's it.
Literally, apparently she's. I was reading up on this. She's the most notorious child serial killer in the UK history. Like, what the fuck?
All I can say, the good thing is that the parents will now know, and the baby's remains will always be like there. Like they will, like, there's people out there that have killed children in the past. There's that one in there, the famous one, who still will not reveal his location.
Won't say where they are. Yeah.
That's what a sad day for parents out there. Like, you put your trust into the NHS.
Yeah, you do.
You go to a healthcare service.
I mean, there's that.
You put your life in their hands.
Yeah, although...
And that person walks away, takes your child with them.
And thinks, I'm going to kill it.
And kills it.
Like...
And you ain't got a clue.
There's nothing you can do about it. And
because that's what they have to do anyway.
The one person you're supposed to trust as well, you know?
Yeah. A midwife, a nurse, a doctor. You know, and this is a very highly trained person. It just goes to
like
show.
I said, she would have spent years training.
Yeah, she'd have spent
even be in that position.
I think, 5, 8 years?
I don't know how long.
Whatever it is.
Because it did say in some of this, something about her being on work placements and stuff.
So she was even doing it during work placements.
But considering the fact she's 33.
It's like work experience.
Like, you know, she's had some experience doing this. Like just working as a nurse.
That's like going on work experience like a mechanic, but you're actually doing like decats on cars.
Yeah, literally.
Doing illegal shit on work experience.
It's like, yeah, you work in the garage, but still.
That's what I'm saying. You put all your trust into these healthcare workers, and that's what they can do. I mean, you wouldn't work up to no Joe Bloggs on the street, would you? And say, all right, mate, can you cut my liver out just because I need a liver transplant? You wouldn't do it, would you? But you happily go into the NHS and say, I need a liver transplant. You put your trust into those people to do that.
It's amazing that someone like this can get that far along the way to have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is obviously isn't something that she just woke up one morning and was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go.
No.
Like, this is something she's probably been planning and thinking about for a long time.
She's processed it.
She's done it.
Well, that's what they say, don't they?
And then she's obviously been able to do it for a long time after.
You know, that's what they say, don't they? They say that you plan these things, you go, you have a motive, don't you? You don't.
Can you imagine how absolutely delusional you'd have to be to think this was like...
It's like me waking up to work one morning and go, oh, fuck, I hate my job, and just drill straight through a gas main.
Literally, yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's just do that, yeah.
Like
or give over all the gas main drawings to terrorists.
That doesn't really happen, does it?
No,
something like that happens over time.
Exactly, it's a build-up, you know, but this...
Crazy times.
Yeah, but...
I mean, if there was ever a perfect description of a fucking crazy bitch, it's old Lucy Letby.
That's a really eerie photo, isn't it, of the ward?
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
I mean, you can just see it. It's got the monkey, a giraffe on the wall. It's so
creepy.
child-friendly.
I think the fact that when you try and put like childlike drawings in something like as clinical as a hospital, it just looks creepy as fuck. It looks like some sort of horror movie, doesn't it? Well, I guess it was.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say to this anymore.
No, I think we'll probably leave that one there. And hopefully when she ends up in Gen Pop, she has a hell of a time.
Be great, wouldn't it?
Next up, we've got your favourite man on the planet. My favourite
man. My man who loves to just poke and prod the grizzly bear.
Question is, though, is Elon Musk better than Donald Trump? Which one do you love more?
Oh, that's a good one. It has to be Elon Musk because he hasn't committed no crimes. I don't get me wrong, I love the Orange Man, but there was a few things that you do think...
Probably shouldn't have done that.
You probably shouldn't have done that. You probably shouldn't have said, I just touch him on the minge,
Grab him by the pussy. Grab him by the pussy, yeah.
You just can't say shit like that.
No, you shouldn't say that.
But, like nowadays, we've got AI technology, so you don't even know who says what anymore. So, yes, the infamous Elon Musk now says that he is going to be removing the blocking feature from Twitter or X.
Yeah, so when we were reading up on this earlier, the only caveat to him removing the block feature is you can still block via DMs. So you obviously can't just receive unsolicited dick pics all day long.
But you can just still post on their wall.
But it does seem like you can just, continuously post at them. I don't really know what Twitter are going to do in terms of people abusing the system to just spam people with tweets.
Dude, it's not Twitter. It's X. Is it still classed as a tweet, though?
I refuse to call it X. It's fucking stupid.
It's better to search for, though, because it's just X.
X videos.
X videos. Oh, shit. But it's true, though, isn't it? Like, come on. Like, you just even hit the nail on the head. You said when you tweet.
That's the thing, though. What is it now? Is it just an X? Are you posting an X? What is it?
I don't even know what you...
Sounds so
stupid. Thread, is it? You can't say Fred, because that's Reddit.
Reddit?
It's getting confusing, isn't it? Like, I'll tell you what, all you bitchy, whiny people out there that block people because, like, you can never get your argument narrative straight across the internet, you're fucked now. So, yeah, that just basically goes to show that this is kind of like, you can't slam the door on people's faces in the middle of life. Like, if you walk down the street, you can't just block people anyway.
No, there's definitely...
it's becoming more real life social.
Kind of get it in a way, because in real life, if you don't want to talk to someone, you just go somewhere else. You don't interact with that person.
That's right.
Although online it is a bit more difficult.
You can follow them. You can literally just do nothing but annoy
However,
people.
Online, I think the whole point of what he's saying here is he's trying to get rid of the people who will get into an argument, say some horrible shit, and then block the person before they can respond. I think that's what he's trying to get away from.
Block is going to be deleted as a feature, except for DMs. The tech mogul posted on X Friday.
Apparently, according to Elon Musk, blocking people as a feature makes no sense.
Makes no sense. I mean,
what do you think about blocking? Do you think you should be able to block people?
I don't think you should. I don't think you should be able to block. I don't think that should be a feature. I think it should be a right. Put you into a scenario in a classroom. You're in a classroom of 20 children. 14 of them are harassing you, bullying you. They call you names. They throw things at you. They pea shoot you. They spitball everything. You know. I mean, you also get that one kid that always takes it well out of line. He gets a sogging wet toilet roll and throws it at the back of your head. You know. What do you do?
I suppose you'd remove the kid, right?
You have to ignore it, don't you?
I suppose you do. See, I don't know. I'm on the other side of the fence with this.
You just ignore it.
I kind of think that blocking as a feature does make sense.
Just ignore it.
I do think,
or get rid of your account and start a new one.
Like a social media platform. I do kind of think that blocking as a feature makes sense.
The best thing you can do is ignore it.
My issue with Elon Musk sometimes, as I've mentioned before,
I think he's just doing it just to wind people up.
He seems to have the temperament of a petulant child. However, at the same time, I think he's well aware that he has that. So I think he kind of leans into it sometimes. He knows he says and does stupid stuff. But because he's aware of it, he also doesn't really care that he does it either.
No, he doesn't.
It's not as if he's stupid in any way, and he's just making stupid decisions for the sake of it. I think he's well aware how stupid his decisions are before he makes them.
I think, he woke up that morning.
But because he has so much power, he's just like, fuck it, let's give it a go.
He must have rolled over, because half the time he's sleeping in the office anyway. He must have rolled. His wife must think, where is he? He's at.
He ain't got a wife anymore, is he?
I thought he was still married.
He used to be married to Grimes, didn't he? Didn't she?
Yeah. So the fuck knows.
I can't confirm if they're together or not, but I thought they weren't together anymore.
But I know that he does stay at the office. He does sleep on the sofa.
I can't imagine Elon Musk is a very pleasant man to be married to.
Well, no, because he'd probably just annoy you all night. Elon Tusk, like from fucking Rick and Morty.
Oh, I remember that Rick and Morty. Is that when he's working in the soup kitchen or something? I did.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, he must have just woke up and went, I'm removing the block feature. And I'm not being funny, his engineers must hate him because they must have gone, not another thing we got to decode.
Yeah.
That is fucking... Like, you've got years of something that's been coded in.
That must be embedded in so many parts of Twitter as well.
Like, there will be, like, so many ways if you get into it. Like, you would go into your system information, then you've obviously got the drop-down on the profile.
There are so many points, like, where that touches. And for someone who writes code for a living, I can tell you, removing a block feature from any simple app would be fucking awful. Let alone something like Twitter, where it's embedded and ingrained in a core part of the app.
We just look at X now. So we've got the BBC News UK.
You're on Twitter, yeah?
I'm on X, Twitter.
Twitter.
The amount of things that you have just in this drop-down feature, you've got mute, block.
That is actually a good question.
Not interesting.
What's he going to do about muting people? Do you reckon he'll get rid of that as well? Because...
Yeah, he hasn't mentioned that, has he?
No, because it's a similar sort of feature.
But, just think of that as that block. Then obviously you go onto the profile. You can do it still there. And then again, going into it again, you've got block there again. So you've got to remove all of those codes that are along that way.
It's going to go layers and layers deep of where this stuff ties into.
His engineers must have just woke up and thought, not Friday as well. They must have been
They must absolutely hate their lives. I would hate my life if I worked for him.
If you worked for him, you'd cry.
It's funny watching it from the outside because he just does seemingly stupid stuff, but working for him must be...
Just does what he wants.
It must be fucking awful.
Because he does. He must wake up that morning and go, right, we're doing that.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he does things on a whim. But like I said, I think he's aware that he does that as well. So he doesn't care.
What I want to know is this going to have an effect on users? Are they going to potentially leave the platform because they can't work? You know who will leave the platform is the woke liberals.
The woke people.
And the LGBT communities because they won't be able to block the trolls. And trolls, a lot of them are bots, AI, aren't they now?
Yeah, I mean, Twitter definitely has a bit of a troll issue and always has done, really, just because of the type of platform it is. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the usage what happens with the usage of Twitter. X.
What's interesting is, actually, at the bottom of the article, it says, Mark Zuckerberg says Elon Musk isn't serious about cage fight. It's time to move on. Maybe because Mark Zuckerberg's had enough of the alien memes. I don't know.
Maybe.
But, going back to that, I just think it is true. So you've got the mute aspect. You've got the not interested aspect, haven't you, as well? Because you can go not interested in seeing their tweets, and that just does something with the algorithm.
Yeah.
Elon, dude, we need to come into more inspiration for this. Like, come on, what have you got planned for the not blocking? I think it's a brilliant idea, because I do think at the same point in life, you cannot just block someone straight up. That was the whole point of social media, was that you're safe, isn't it? Like, it's a safe place, safe haven.
Yeah.
You could block your ex, you could block your boss, but
I think it's hard.
It doesn't always work, because if I followed you, you could retweet something, I wouldn't see it. But if I saw it, I could always see it from another friend's profile. So the whole blocking aspect does and doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean,
because people just made different accounts anyway if they were to troll you.
The idea of blocking, I think, is a good thing in social media. However, I think with Elon Musk,
Elon Tusk,
he is a very strange man in the sense that he seems like a man with a plan that spans years and years into the future that no one else can see. However, he also seems like the sort of man, exactly the same time, that makes decisions that seconds after he wakes up. So it's very strange. Do you know what I mean?
Wakes up one morning, pissing all of his engineers' cornflakes.
Yeah, he wakes up one morning and thinks, he wakes up one morning and thinks, fuck it, that'll be a good idea, do it. But then he also seems like he's got this grand plan.
Doesn't even come up like, X shares. It's still Twitter shares, isn't it?
It seems like he's got this grand plan for years into the future. So it's like, it amazes me that someone can be in those two states of mind at all times.
It just doesn't... Fucking hell. I'm just trying to even look at the shares, see if the shares have dropped to anything since he said anything. It just doesn't... X doesn't come into it because it still thinks it's called SpaceX. There's so much he's got to change. I just... I mean, we haven't even heard anything from him about crypto in a while, have we?
Not really, no.
I mean, what happened with all of that?
Not really sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. So Bitcoin dives as Elon Musk SpaceX sends Bitcoin tumbling. I mean, everything that he's doing, everything that he does with X, Twitter, he actually has a knock-on effect across everything.
Yeah, he does.
His investors must think, oh shit, no.
Did you have you seen the clip of him? Have you seen the clip of him smoking weed on Joe Rogan?
Yes.
So have you heard the interview he did after that? He apparently for about a year after that, he had to do random drug tests twice a week, because his shareholders didn't have any,
didn't have faith in him. Yeah, because they thought he'd be intoxicated.
And someone said to him, didn't you think something like that would happen when you smoke weed? And he said he honestly said, I don't think it'd be that bad. But then he had to spend the next year doing random drug tests, almost all the time.
Because he's absolutely blazing up.
Because he just smoked a joint on Joe Rogan. I thought
but it's
so
true.
funny.
Even the most powerful people in the world, you obviously can't be.
But I think it's stuff like that.
Effect that you have.
It's stuff like that when he's like, I didn't think it'd be that bad. That you do kind of
now saying no, it didn't spark the Bitcoin tumble. They're fake news, everyone.
Yeah, I think when he did that whole smoking weed thing, and then afterwards he's like, didn't think it'd be that bad. I think it makes you realise that as smart as he is, he does do things on a whim sometimes without rethinking them through, which does explain a lot of his more interesting decisions.
No, it must do. It must do at all. Yeah, no, it's not really disclosed anything about what, because of his exchange on X, Twitter today, about what he said. But I imagine it's caused major controversy within the realms of Twitter X. Yeah. I mean, it's getting very annoying calling it that. X, Twitter, X.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, isn't it?
And also, what I want to know about is the X on the building, the massive, great big fucking Flucia beacon here.
Yeah.
That had to be removed, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was causing, it was inappropriate for locals.
Yeah.
He never spoke about that again.
No.
And I don't think he ever spoke if it was his idea, did he?
No, I don't think he ever really commented on it, as far as I could see.
I mean, I'd like to know what happened with that. I mean, it was a great advertising stunt if you'd done it in the middle of the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
Like on like the Hollywood, LA, something, you know, like X bang, or like a helicopter flew it or something, you know, like or drones did it. But like he put it on the building right in the city.
I don't know about you, but I'm still yet to actually hear anyone refer to it as X properly. Everyone still says Twitter.
I refer to it as X.
Other than you. I'm yet to hear anyone
I put it in the group,
X.
didn't I? Yesterday, I put it on our group chat. I said love X. People must have thought.
Do you know what? I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah, I was talking about that.
When you said love X, I was like, I didn't know what you meant.
Is he hallucinating?
I was like, what do you mean? What's X? I didn't know you meant Twitter. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
What was the chat before that?
It's there. I actually don't know.
Like we were talking about something, and you just said love X, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't understand what you were referring to at all.
Oh yeah, that was it. My girlfriend has a penis, and no, I'm not gay. I mean, that's major.
Oh yeah, you put love X, and I was like,
and then I think that does make you gay, and then I put love X, and everyone was like, what the fuck in the group? Like, what's Tom hallucinating or something?
I didn't even click that you meant X as in Twitter.
As in X. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. I mean, everything's always had like a longer name, like Reddit. You had Vine.
Well, yeah, they're
Snapchat. They're actual names, and even if they're an abbreviation of something, it still was like,
actual words.
It's just X.
X isn't. It's not even a word. It's just a letter.
He's got SpaceX. Why didn't he just call it like Social X or something?
Social X. That would have been. I mean, it's a shit name, but it would have gone with its whole branding.
Elon, if you use Social X, I just want 1 or 2%.
I'll take 0.5%. I'll still be rich.
I don't need
my mortgage with 0.5%.
So SpaceX, you got Social X. What about ThreadX? I don't know. ThreadX. That sounds like a paracetamol.
Sounds like someone saying FedEx with a list. ThreadX.
FedEx. It's like the all new nature bar. ThreadX.
It sounds like medicine.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, but like, come on, like, you know, we don't want a lot. We just want 0.5%, and it's like we're still waiting for Asahi to sponsor us, you know. So like, it's not really a lot we want out there.
Yeah, Asahi. I went out with work the other day, and instead of getting local brew, I went for an Asahi, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Decent,
Japanese super dry
representing
Asahi.
Send us a free case if you want."
Free case with merch, but yeah, you know, like we'll wear it. You know, we'll wear it.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely wear it.
You know, like it just goes to show, like I mean, it's just an X now as well, isn't it? It's just the X as well. And it's Elon, you've done a lot this year. You have killed Twitter, theoretically. You have killed it because you've made it now X. You've had the death of the Bluebird, and now the X is being born. I want to know what people are going to see with Twitter X, what's going to happen with it. I want to see if people are going to leave the platform now because of blocking. How many people have left?
It's very hard
since Elon took over.
Kind of tell. I don't even think he'd really be honest with the figures anyway.
Let's have a look. How many users left deleted Twitter?
I think the problem with something like that sort of stat is the only place you can find that information is from Twitter themselves.
It'd be in through him.
And they're not going to be like, you know.
I mean, it says between October 27th and November 1st, approximately 877,000 Twitter accounts were deactivated by users, and 497,000 accounts were suspended by Twitter. So that's obviously inactive accounts, isn't it?
Yeah,
and fake accounts,
like bot accounts and stuff like that. Yeah,
1.3 million. You know,
that's not really a lot in the grand scheme.
Not a lot, is it?
Especially since, you know, a third of those were fake bot accounts anyway.
Exactly. You know, and how many more is it going to cause a divide between the blocking? I mean, I personally, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Do you know what? I don't.
But there must be other aspects to it. You might be able to mute, not interest.
I don't think people are going to leave Twitter because of this. I think it's just going to bring back the concept of the flame war from back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are just going to argue more than ever.
Well, they do. I showed you one just earlier, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I actually don't follow that, and it was about
just pops up as a
London refugees. There was no such thing as a London refugee, and the amount of people that kicked off saying that they did refugee because they evacuated to the countryside. I mean, that's another controversy subject that we could get onto. And the arguing on there displayed.
Yeah.
That there are...
that's true. Like I say,
and racism is as thick as ever as it is on Twitter.
I don't really think people are going to leave Twitter because they can't block. I think they're just going to argue more than they did before.
Basically, if you don't like X now or Twitter, go to Reddit. Don't go to Facebook. Fuck Metaverse.
Do you know what? Reddit is toxic.
Reddit's safe, though, in this aspect.
Reddit's toxic in a way that it's only really as toxic as you kind of let it be.
Yeah.
Like, if you're joining a subreddit of beheadings, then...
You're going to expect...
Or if you're joining, like, a super neo-Nazi KKK subreddit, like, what do you expect? But for the most part, like...
If you join, like, Sons of the Forest, like the gaming community,
like,
if you actually say anything negative, you get downvoted straight away,
I mean.
and then everything just gets moved.
So it's like, you kind of pick your own... Reddit is kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of social media.
But that is what I will say about it, though, is that you get downvoted. And when you get downvoted to a certain point, they actually push that reply to the bottom.
Yeah, they do. They hide it as well. Like,
so it doesn't,
it's not even open.
So it doesn't get seen. Yeah. So why is it that Facebook, X, Twitter, doesn't do that? Why have we got into an agenda now that is totally unacceptable to dislike someone? YouTube removed it.
That is weird, isn't it? I don't really understand the concept of being afraid to say you don't like something.
But let's just go into a scenario like, say, like on X now. You can't block. Someone says a racist comment to a post. People disagree with it. Instead of firing at that post, going, it's racist, you then create an argument. What about a disliking button that then creates the algorithm to think if that gets a certain dislike percentage,
then it's a bad
it's removed and it's hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Reddit can do that pretty well.
0.5% on that, Elon.
I mean, I'm going to be...
That's what we're trying to say. Like, it just doesn't...
To be fair, that is actually quite a good idea. And sadly, I would have thought, if we've thought of it, I'm sure Elon's probably already thought of it.
Yeah, no, of course. But
that is a good idea. I do like that. Some sort of downvoting feature on Twitter would be quite helpful, actually.
Because because it then sees it as actually a community that are coming together to remove that one.
I think that would make a lot of sense.
It just doesn't, like, it does, it works on Reddit. I know it'd be technically classed as a copy of Reddit, but it's not if you're doing like a dislike button.
Oh, I've seen so many
because Facebook brought in the dislike button, didn't it, years ago?
I don't remember, to be honest.
It lasted like a day, and then obviously you've got the emoji now, the angry face.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
That's just gay. I mean, you should be allowed to literally be like, I dislike that. I mean, YouTube used to show you the dislike.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't because they think it's hurtful to people. You need to know what's good and bad.
I think
otherwise you will never know if you're creating good content.
No, we've definitely gotten to a point in the world where people seem to be afraid to hear when they're not doing a very good job. And it's like, if you're doing a shit job, it's better to be told than just be ignorant of it because you're just going to keep doing a shit job.
It's like back in the day, you'd have got a lettuce and a tomato thrown at you on stage. You're not allowed to do that no more. It's assault.
Yeah.
I just, like, but that's how you knew you were shit.
I do think people these days have a hard time
Who the fuck went to like a gig though, like tomato and lettuce? Like,
imagine that. But no, like I said, I think people these days have a real hard time taking criticism.
They do, yeah. We're in a protected world now.
Like some people say we're shit on TikTok. We have haters that say we're shit.
But if you got haters, you're doing something right.
But at the same time, we don't really give a shit because we just like doing it. So
I just enjoy doing it. We don't get paid to do it.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
We actually haven't made any money doing this. If anything, we've just spent money.
We've lost money. We've lost money doing this, and we'll keep losing money because it's fun.
It's just a burning pit, ring of fire. But it's true, isn't it? Like, so what's Elon done? Is Elon actually started the revolution of we've got to get away from this pity life that we live of being shamefully hurt and upset and
it
crying.
Does make you wonder. Yeah, he is kind of onto something. Whether it's the right call, don't know. But he is definitely hitting it hard when it comes to kind of trying to stop, I think, his community of, his social media platform, Twitter, being sort of like this...
Metaverse.
Well, being this sort of like community of, for lack of a better term, snowflakes.
Snowflakes, wokes. I got called a snowflake the other day, so I found it interesting.
Did you?
Yeah, I got called a snowflake.
You're the most unsnowflake person I've ever known.
I got called a snowflake because I typed Trump 2024 on Sky News, and people called me a snowflake.
I don't think people know what a snowflake is.
No.
Although, what was it people called us a while ago? An incel. And I don't think
that
guy knows what an incel actually is.
I forgot what it means now.
Yeah, an incel is basically a guy who kind of he kind of thinks the world's against him. He thinks women are to blame for everything. He
That's
thinks
it.
the reason he can't get dates is because it's
Women.
the woman's fault.
That's right. It's not him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not, mate. It's you. You're the problem, not them.
It's just, I just think it's just so interesting.
I think
how
a lot
it's
of the
just
time
going.
people like to throw words around like that when they don't know what they mean.
Massively.
It's sad.
I just think, yeah, incel. That's something that's more used along the line of like, I'd understand if like a gay man was to say it to a straight man. I'd get that. I'd understand that then, because obviously he's then blaming the fact that single straight man is lonely because he is an incel male that blames people. I'd understand in that context for being used, but when they were using it in our context, when we were talking about Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on one of those. Really
because you put a fucking hashtag for Dylan Mulvaney, you set all of those Trojan horses into our comment section, which was funny because it gave us nothing but better algorithm.
Got us views,
so
didn't it?
More comments on TikTok works, and we only put our highlights on TikTok because it's a quicker. No one wants to see 10-minute videos on TikTok unless you're watching like a craft video. Something
that's a little bit sad about TikTok is nobody wants to hear us sit here and say something like, "Oh, well done, ladies football, England women's football team.
They want to hear the other.
Do you know what they want to hear us say? They want to hear us say about, "Oh, women shouldn't be paid the same, bloody, bloody, blah." Well, that's what people want to see. That's what gets views.
Don't say nothing that can't get edited into it, though.
Exactly.